الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يسألونك عن الروح قل الروح من أمر ربي سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. So we're talking about muraqabah. Muraqabah is to watch over your heart doing the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, how to do muraqabah? Muraqabah, ideally speaking, should be done sitting with closed eyes. Is it necessary to close the eyes? No. The reason that our Mashaykh have recommended to close the eyes is so that we don't get distracted. Because we are weak people. If somebody is walking around us, we will get distracted. We can't even focus on if I'm talking, you're listening, somebody walks in, everybody looks around and asks, what's happening? The muraqabah should be done, ideally speaking, with closed eyes. If people want to turn off lights, that's also okay. Because the idea is to get the state of tabattul. وَتَبَتَّلْ إِلَيْهِ تَبْتِيلًا. That you cut off from the creation and you connect to the Creator. And all of this is makhluk. Creation, light, people, walls. So as much as you cut yourself off from the creation, the better it is. That's the only reason. You will say, somebody came to one of the talks of our Hazrat, and at the end, he did the muraqabah and somebody turned off lights of the masjid. And he got extremely upset. I will never go there, it's bid'at, why did they turn off lights? Come on. Nobody is saying, it's fard or wajib or sunnah to turn off lights. People don't understand the definition of bid'at anymore. They are just like, it means to attain the concentration, that is it. It just means to get the concentration. So, as much concentration you will have, the better it is. Better is to sit. And it's a very relaxed thing. Some people get very tensed doing muraqabah. It's not a tense thing. It's a very relaxed thing. So ideally, you should sit cross-legged, the way I'm sitting right now. Relaxed position. Head, eyes closed, head down. And just have this opinion, sirf ye guman karna hai, niyat karni hai, bas, nothing else. That Allah Ta'ala's mercy is falling. No visualization, no fantasizing. Just have this niyat, that's it. Ana inda vanni abdi bi. I'm according to the guman, opinion of my slave. And then have also this guman that I'm listening, trying to listen, to focus on my heart, that it is doing the zikr of Allah. Bas. Then sit there. If you sleep, it's allowed to sleep. Some people say, I did 1 hour muraqabah, but out of those 1 hour, 40 minutes I was sleeping. Don't worry. That's fine. See, if you go and sit in an airplane, and say it's going from Dubai to London, once you go and sit, and the plane flies, you reach London, if it doesn't crash. Right? You sleep, you recline, you sit straight, doesn't matter. Once you sit there, then you reach London. So this is just like that. Once you sit in muraqabah with that right intention, you're flying. And you are traveling that journey. If you sleep, you are getting the effect of zikr. The best is to focus, be awake, focus, try to focus, relax. If you are able to tune in, as I mentioned, it's the best. If you get the feeling, it's the best. Some people actually, they start listening to Allah, 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 Allah. They actually listen, the heart saying Allah, Allah, literally. If you get that, that's the best. But if you don't get any of these, still it's good. Because you are sitting with that guman, with that opinion, with that intention, you are traveling now. You are in the car, you're putting in the gas, it's being driven by Allah. Now, if you see something around, it's good. If you don't, it's okay. As I said, if you sleep, you still are traveling. If your windows are open and you see all of these beautiful clouds, and you see the sun setting and the sun rising, and you see all of these, sea and the towns and the mountains, and the ice. If you see that, all good. If you don't, you're still traveling. If you shut off your windows, you're still traveling. So all these kayfiyat and the feelings and the states, if you get it, okay. If you don't, it's okay. Don't worry about these things. Fikr nahi karni hai iske baare mein. All what you have to do is the right intention and sit. So best is to sit relaxed, right intention, close your eyes, and head down, focused on whichever lesson you are, whichever latifa you are doing your zikr on. So people who are in first lesson latifa, qalb, they focus on the left side where I pointed out, and then try to focus. That's it. Ignore the thoughts, don't worry, inshallah, just be consistent, be patient. As I said, we are waiting. So we are waiting, so we wait for something that's big. The reward is big. Some people complain, I start getting, the legs start hurting, my neck starts hurting. It's natural. If you're not used to something, initially it will happen. Some people who cannot sit on the floor, mashallah, everybody's sitting on the floor here. You ask like a Westerner, to come and sit on the floor for 2 hours. After 10 minutes he will say, can I get a chair? It's not used to that. That's it. It's just being used to something, or they're muscles. The veins, the blood flow, when it's not used to something, some specific position, it hurts. So adat to banani padti. You have to make a habit of it. So once you make a habit of it, it's the best is to sit down, cross-legged, relaxed position, eyes closed, head down, as little distraction as possible, no lights, good, no people around, it's good, or tell people don't disturb me, please let me do muraqabah. That's the best. If you're not able to do muraqabah sitting for some reason, then you can lay down and do as well. It's not the best, but it is also allowed. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. There are people who do zikr standing, sitting, and laying down on their beds, on their sides. You can do zikr in every position. That's not a big deal, but the best is to sit down so that you keep your focus. That's the idea. And the more you do muraqabah, the better it is. In all the ma'mulat, all the daily prescribed azkar, so-called azkar, that are in the silsila, which are actually 4, which is istighfar, durood, salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, recitation of the Quran, and muraqabah. These are only 4 ma'mulat. Out of these 4, the most important is this muraqabah. Now you start understanding a little bit what it is. And inshallah I'll cover that a little bit more, what it is about. But the more you do muraqabah, the better it is. People say, I can do istighfar, I can do durood, I can recite the Quran, muraqabah nahi hota. Everybody's complaining, huh? That's because shaitan knows what it is. He can let you do istighfar, he can let you do durood, muraqabah, oh you're wasting your time. Nahi, thak gaya hu main, bas 2 minutes, 1 minute. People who actually have been able to get something out of all of this are the ones who have done long muraqabahs. The more muraqabah you do, the better it is. It's like putting sugar in anything. The more sugar you put, the sweeter it gets. And this is the sweetness, that the more sweetness you get, the better it is. You don't have any fear of getting into being diabetic or something. You have to put as much sugar as you want. And these Pathans, the way that they put sugar in their teas, subhanAllah, it's amazing, huh? Right, Abdullah? I've heard strange stories about Pathans, by the way, putting sugar in their teas. Somebody asked somebody, how much sugar will you take as a Pathan? He said, jitni himmat hai dal do. And he started putting 1, 2, and I was looking at him, 3, 4, 5. I said, maybe he'll say, just stop. 6, 7. But uska meri himmat nahi hai. Literally, you put so much sugar that the spoon can literally stand in the tea. Allah, I don't know, how can they drink that much? Anyway, so become like Pathans as they put sugar in the tea. The more sweeter it gets, the better it is. The more muraqabah you do, the better it is. And the people who have actually got something out of it are the ones who have done more muraqabahs. There was a Shaykh, his name was Maulana Hussain Ali, Bhajra wale. He was Punjabi, very like a Dehati, Bedouin, villager. But he was a deep tawheed in his heart. And his ego was like zero. It was like nafs was totally crushed. Once he had to go give some speech in one of the jalsas in Multan. And he's a big Shaykh, and the people were waiting for him in the train station. Shaykh is coming, his train will arrive at certain time. There's a huge crowd. And just a station before the station where he had to go, he said, who am I? These people will be waiting for me to, welcome me. I am just a small little weak creation of Allah. He just got off on a station before the station where he had to go. And he actually literally walked and, went and, booked a hotel by himself, and people were finding where is the Shaykh, the train has come, Shaykh isn't there, he has to give a speech. And then somebody found out that he's already in the town. Just so that, his nafs doesn't get fat, that people will come and praise and, welcome and all of that. So, Ajeeb Shaykh, mashallah. So, he had a habit that he would do long muraqabahs. So people would come do muraqabah with him at night, and every day would do muraqabah, and so people will come after Isha. And normally it's a habit, if you do muraqabah with the Shaykh, after a certain time the muraqabah is over, then, it's a dua, and people then disperse. So in his muraqabah there was no ending dua. How? That people would come, and he would go into muraqabah, people would go into muraqabah, and he would never raise his head. He would be in muraqabah. So after some time, one person will start getting tired. So, he will look around, he'll go. The second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. Eventually, everybody will go, he will still be in his muraqabah, and, when he will realize, everybody's gone, he will open his eyes, and he'll just get up for tahajjud. There was no ending dua. These are long muraqabahs that he used to do. Sayyid Zawar Hussain Shah Sahib, rahmatullah alayhi, the one who has written Umdatul Fiqh, beautiful, detailed fiqh book, mashallah, is a big Shaykh. He was the first Shaykh of my Hazrat, by the way. Before his Murshid Alam, Habib Rahmatullah Alayh, he was his first Shaykh, Sayyid Dawar Hussain Shah Sahab. And after he passed away, then, Hazrat took birth with Ghulam Habib Rahmatullah Alayh. So he went to one of his khulafa, Al-Mawla Hussain Ali. So he said, we'll go do muraqabah with him for some time. So when he went to him, so he said, okay, let's do muraqabah. So they said, okay, he and his friend. So they started muraqabah, and they had to come back. So they had to come back. They had some things to take care of. So the Shaykh said, let's do muraqabah. So he did like muraqabah for 1 hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours. Now they had to come back. And now they're feeling, this. Of course they couldn't open their eyes, lack of, against adab. But they were when people have some sort of, bechani, so they started moving, what's happening really? So after 3 hours, he opened the Shaykh, realized, that something is happening. He opened his eyes. He said, okay, I'll make dua, but when you come next time, make sure that you take enough time for muraqabah. So he did muraqabah over 3 hours, and still he is saying, next time when you will come, make sure that you take enough time, free time for muraqabah. The thing is that they actually got the reality of muraqabah. They actually got that pleasure, that what muraqabah is all about. And the more you do muraqabah, better it is. And more you do it in one sitting, the better it is. The example that our Mashayikh give is like if you have to take water out of the earth and you dig a hole. Say the water is at 100 feet down, under the ground. So you dig a hole you dig 10 holes of 10 feet each, you will never be able to take water out of that. But you dig one hole, 100 feet, the water will come out. It is just like that. So the more you do muraqabah, and more you do it in one sitting, more you do it focused, the more effects you will get, the more benefit you will get. And once people get that pleasure, that feeling of muraqabah, then they don't like anything else, honestly speaking. They don't even want to talk to people. The reason we talk a lot is because we have not yet tasted the pleasure of silence. That's why we talk a lot. थोड़ी सी वक्त मिलता है बातें. थोड़ा सा, you get 5 minutes and you can't even sit quiet for 5 minutes. Just want to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. I teach these women, these sisters. SubhanAllah, you give them 5-minute break and Allah Akbar. Everybody's talking. Why can't people sit quiet? Why can't people taste the pleasure of silence? Then people get this pleasure of silence, of muraqabah, then they don't enjoy anything else. They don't like anything else. The reason that we like all of the other things is because we have yet not tasted the pleasure of the zikr of Allah. The way that people they put on, when they're driving, they put on CDs, and different people put on, some people put on tilawah of the Quran, some people will put on some nasheed, people, the fasiqeen, they'll put on music, some songs. Why? They tell, we enjoy it, the background music. So this muraqabah, when people really get into it, it's like a background, quote unquote, music. Not that music that's haram, but the music of the heart. The zikr of Allah Ta'ala is like a background tone, and people enjoy it. People get pleasure out of it. And once people get this taste, this pleasure, then every other taste, every other pleasure is zero in front of them. The reason that we sin is to enjoy, right? That's what I said in the beginning. To give our nafs the pleasure, so quote unquote. That's why our eyes wander around. That's why, our tongue is talking about things that we shouldn't be talking about. Riba, backbiting, lies, immodest things. So we get this pleasure. But once we get the pleasure of the zikr of Allah, all of these pleasures are zero. The pleasure of being silent, the pleasure of loneliness. Because when you're lonely, then it's you and Allah. And there are people there, hundreds of people sitting around you and everybody wants to talk. Yet they don't want to talk. After 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if somebody is talking, say, can we talk about it tomorrow now? Long phone calls, long conversations, long discussions. People don't want that. They enjoy silence. They enjoy being lonely. Our Hazrat says, if you close me in a room for 7 days, for a month, I will love that. He said, because, this is the enjoyment that you get being alone with you and Allah. That's the best thing that you can get. जी ढूंढता है फिर वही फुर्सत के रात दिन बैठे रहें तसव्वुर जाना किए. You get that free time so that you can just be drowned in the remembrance of your beloved. Just दिल के आईने में तस्वीर यार जब जरा गर्दन झुकाई देख ली. The picture of your beloved is in your heart. Whenever you want to look at him, just like take your head down and you can see that. That's the state. Lekin uske liye, for that we all have to struggle. Initially it's difficult, but once people get over that hurdle, then it becomes easy. Then people start enjoying that. Why do people do 3 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours muraqabah? Even today. Even sisters do it. 2, 3 hours of muraqabah every day. They're busy also. They also have all these, other jobs to take care of. Their house, cleaning, cooking, studying, universities, other studies, everything, all other tasks. But still they find time 2 hours, 3 hours every day to do muraqabah. Where are they getting this time from? The thing is that they're enjoying it, that they love it. They want to get that time. We don't enjoy it. We have yet not tasted what it is all about, the zikr of Allah in the heart. So first thing is to make sure that we make a habit of sitting. The second is long muraqabah. Do long muraqabahs. As long as you can. Start with, if people start with 10 minutes. Then make it 15, make it 20, make it 25, make it 30. Do mashwara with your shaykh, of course. But make an intention that you are going to increase the time. The more you do it, the better it is. And I'll tell you another secret. Once you sleep at night, you make an intention of sleeping, when you go to bed, once you're over with, all the du'as and the masnoon du'as and everything, you make an intention of muraqabah when you sleep. जब सोने लगे तो नियत कर ले मुराकबे की. So same way that you do the muraqabah. So just focus and लेटे हुए तो focus, have same intention कि अल्लाह ताला की रहमत आ रही है दिल में, Allah Ta'ala's mercy is falling on your heart, basically that latifa, and the heart is doing the zikr of Allah, 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 Allah. Just make this intention and sleep. Sleep in that state, focus. बहुत अच्छी नींद आएगी, यकीन कर. Don't need sleeping pills. People who have issues sleeping, do muraqabah. It's such a beautiful sound sleep, you will love it. And the good thing is that you will be sleeping, but at the very same time you will get the reward of being in muraqabah. Because you will still be flying. You will be on that journey. And the second thing is that, other complaints that people have, bad dreams, this, that, people complain about, inshallah, those will be over as well. Inshallah. Sleep in the state of wudu. Alright? Do the masnoon du'as. Do, Ayatul Kursi, the quills. And then sleep in the state of muraqabah. Inshallah, all the issues will be gone. All the issues. You will be able to sleep well, inshallah. you will be able to, get rid of bad dreams, bad thoughts and all of that, inshallah. Alright? Third thing that, as I said, that if thoughts come, don't get worried about those, please. Ignore the thoughts. Ignore the thoughts. Make sure that the muraqabah is done the way that I'm telling you. The way I'm telling you. No, deep breathing, no moving, nothing. Quiet, calm, relaxed. Right intention. Bilkul kuch nahi harkat nahi deni hai. The more still you are, the better it is. There are some people, they tell their nafs, if you move, I'll restart. Just say if you make an intention of 1 hour of muraqabah, 1 hour of motionless muraqabah. So say after, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, your leg is really hurting and you want to change the position. They tell their nafs, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to change your position. So when, they say, nahi, you have to move, say, okay, the clock restarts. 1 hour from now. 1 hour of motionless muraqabah. What I'm saying, well, this is what people do, but that's fine. If you want to move, that's fine, it's not an issue. But the more motionless muraqabah it's going to be, the more focus you will get. Nothing with the tongue, nothing with breathing, nothing with that. Calm, quiet, relaxed position. Right? The other thing that is a necessity is that make sure that you stay away from the attacks of shaitan. Shaitan will come and will distract you. This is very difficult on the nafs of shaitan. That you are in muraqabah. He knows what you are getting. He will come and try to distract you, for sure. Thoughts, ignore thoughts. Alright? If you don't get thoughts, then he will put good feelings in you. That's also an attack of shaitan. Oh, mashallah, he'll show you lights, red lights, green lights, blue lights. Ignore the lights. Oh, I become a wali, mashallah, I see lights. Literally. Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayh, he was doing muraqabah. Suddenly, he saw a light in his muraqabah. And somebody was saying, Abdul Qadir, I'm very pleased with you. The pen has been lifted for you. Now you can do whatever you like. I'm happy with you. There's some mashayikh, not mashayikh, that the fake mashayikhs do, right? And then somebody told, oh, my shaykh, he's like such a high state, he doesn't even need to pray anymore. These people, these fake mashayikh, they tell their murideen, you know what, it's just prayer is for common people. We have reached a state we don't need to pray anymore. Shaitani attacks. The voice came to Shaykh Abdul Qadir, rahmatullah Jilani. Pen has been lifted for you, now can you do what? You can do whatever, I'm happy. So Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, rahmatullah, said, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And Allah Ta'ala said, Wa'bud rabbak hatta ya'tiyaka al-yaqeen. You have to worship Allah until your death. So that can only be shaitan. He said, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So he realized shaitan is running. So shaitan never leaves people, anybody. Shaitan doesn't leave anybody. Then shaitan said, you know what, Abdul Qadir, I have distracted so many people with this one attack that I've said to these, so-called mashayikh, fake mashayikh, the pen has been lifted, you can do whatever, they agree to what I have to say. Because of your knowledge, you have been saved. Outwardly it doesn't, feel like this was an attack. But Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah said, I was not saved because of my knowledge. It was the fadl of Allah Ta'ala that I was saved. Because this is also something that comes, arrogance. Oh, mashallah, I'm such a learned person. I know all the tricks of shaitan. I can make shaitan run away. No. goes, وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ مَا زَكَى مِنْكُمْ مِنْ أَحَدٍ أَبَدًا وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يُزَكِّي مَن يَشَاءُ. He said, I know Allah Ta'ala has saved me. It's not because of my knowledge. What is my knowledge? Where is my knowledge coming from? So you should know these very difficult paths. Because once you start walking on this path, shaitan will come and will attack you. From right and from left, from the front and from your back. Shaitan doesn't go and distract people who are sitting in the bar drinking alcohol. Why does he? They're already themselves shaitan. Why does shaitan have to distract a shaitan? They're acting like shaitan. Shaitan attacks and distracts those people who try to walk on this journey to Allah. Shaitan will come and will attack. That is one of the reasons that what Shaykh is necessary. That is one of the reasons that Rabita is necessary. This is one of the reasons you should tell all of yourself to your Shaykh. Some people say, I only will tell this thing and that thing. Well, the other things that you are feeling should not be told. Maybe these are the things where shaitan is attacking you. And you are getting distracted and you don't even know. That's why Rabita is so important. To open yourself in front of the Shaykh. This is the reason, one of the reasons. There are other reasons, inshallah, if Allah Ta'ala give us time, then we will possibly go over that as well. But this is one of the reasons. Shaitan, this is a very subtle, dangerous path. Because shaitan comes and attacks. And we don't even know that where he's attacking from. We have to open ourselves. And then, go and then sometimes, a murid, he went to his Shaykh. He said, I've been doing a lot of muraqabah, and last night I saw a dream that I'm walking in the paradise. So the Shaykh said to him, next time you see this dream, just recite La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So this murid said, what, my Shaykh is even jealous with me. I'm seeing good dreams of paradise, and he's jealous that he has possibly never seen such a dream, and I'm seeing it and he is jealous. So anyway, after a few days, he sees the same dream. But this is Ajib Barakah, when you share yourself with your Shaykh and he advises you something, despite of the fact that you don't do it, there's a barakah in that conversation. So in the dream he realized, he remembered, he said, oh, my Shaykh said, recite La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah when you see such dream again. So he said, okay, let me do it, let me try. He said, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. As soon as he recited that, the dream vanished. The dream finished right there and then. Then he started thinking, and he came back to his Shaykh and said, this is what happened. He said, you know what? The shaitan came in your dream and he was showing you Jannah, that you're walking in paradise. Actually, he was trying to put that arrogance in your heart, that mashallah, you become such a wali of Allah. And this arrogance is destructive. This pride, if it comes, it's destructive. This is what shaitan was doing to you. And I said, you recite La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, so that that shaitan goes away. So that you don't get into that, self-praise sort of a ujab situation. So it's a very difficult path. Shaitan never leaves us. And we think that, we are free of everything. No. Shaitan is after us all the time. Every single moment he wants to distract us. He wants to distract us. He attacks. Yes, we can be saved with the fadl of Allah Ta'ala. But the more zikr we do, the better it is. So what happens in muraqabah? What happens in muraqabah is that, these lataif, it has a ruh. Now you will be confused now. You are saying that Latifa is actually the special connection of the ruh with the body, and I'm saying that Latifa has a ruh of its own. Well, everything has a ruh. Allah Ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِّنْ أَمْرِنَا, that I have revealed to you ruh from my command. This ruh, what is this ruh? Maulana? किसके बारे में बात हो रही है? नहीं, ये जो आयत है وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِّنْ أَمْرِنَا, ये कौन सी रूह के बारे में बात हो रही है? कौन बताएगा? और हज़रत कहते हैं कि इसकी तफसीर है कि अल्लाह ताला कुरान के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. This rule, Allah Ta'ala is talking about Quran. So, Allah Ta'ala is mentioning that Quran is rule. What is rule, right? So, everything has a rule of its own as well. So, Lataif has its own rule. All the Lataif are actually the special connections of the rule that we have in our bodies. So basically, let me put it in another way. This rule that we have is the combination of different arwah. It's the combination of different rules. So just like everything is made up of different things, right? This glass, all this one cup, but it's made up of small little particles. All of them combined together has made it a cup. So just like our rule has sub-particles, sub-rules, sub-arwah, every latifa has its own rule. So once we do muraqabah, so this rule, where is rule coming from? Alamul-Amr. Right? There is a principle in our deen, kullu shay'in yarji'u ila aslihi. Everything returns back to its origin. We are made of dust. We go back to dust. Kullu shay'in yarji'u ila aslihi. Everything is a principle that Allah Ta'ala has set. The rule, when we die, when the intaqal happens, the transfer happens of our ruh, our reality of human being, it goes back to Alam-e-Amr. It goes back to that barzakh, which is in Alam-e-Amr. So when we do muraqabah, what happens is that the ruh of the lataif, it tries to go back to its origin, to its asal, which is Alam-e-Amr. And this latifa, or because we are alive, this latifa is there. So then latifa acts as a shadow of that ruh. वो साया होता है. जो लतीफा होता है, वो एक साया होता है उस रूह का, जो कि लतीफे के अंदर होती है. So when we sit in muraqabah and we hook ourselves with Allah, it starts, feeling that the heart, the latifa is doing Allah, Allah, Allah. So Allah Ta'ala has set some principles that the ruh of that latifa tries to go back to its origin, which is Alam-e-Amr. And because it has been there, we have never focused on that. We have never focused on the zikr of the latifa. So now when we do that, and it tries to go out to its origin, to its asal, we feel that the movement that I was talking about, that fast movement, that is actually that. ये वो जो हरकत होती है, वो ये ऐसे, just like it's a bird. It tries to get out of the nest. It tries to get out of its cage. अपने पिंजरे से बाहर निकलने की कोशिश करती है. तो जब पर मारती है उड़ने के लिए, तो that वो जो फीलिंग होती है ना, वो ये होती है. That it's trying to go back to its asal. That's why people feel movements. जब लोग मुराकबे में बैठते हैं, तो जो लतीफे की रूह होती है, it tries to go back to its asal. That's why people feel this movement. So when it's flying to its asal, this is the shadow. The latifa remains a shadow, and people feel that movement in the latifa as well. That's why these movements happen, by the way. Some people, very common feedback, is that, when we do muraqabah, there's a lot of pain that we feel at the point of latifa. That almost everybody who does muraqabah, they say, we feel pain at the point of latifa. This is also the same thing. Say if a bird is caged, बंद किया हुआ बर्ड को पिंजरे में, जब वो जोर लगाता है निकलने के लिए, तो दर्द होती है. This pain is because of that. Don't worry. So many people say, do you think that I should go to a doctor? I ask them, how old are you? The young people, don't worry. कुछ नहीं होगा. What will happen, Max? Heart attack? Die? कोई बात नहीं. I was at the Itikaf, Mullah Sajjad Numani Sahib, Damat Barakatuhum, I was sitting with him, I was talking to him. He was talking about one of the Shaykh was a Pathan. The Pathans are, mashallah, beautiful people. So, he got heart disease. So the doctor recommended him, you should not eat meat, because it's very bad for your health. They said when the doctor said to him, he started, staring at him with anger. So he said, kept on staring, and after said, "Okay, Doctor Sahab, आइंदा ऐसी बात नहीं करना." He said, why? He said, कि वो 1 साल की जिंदगी जो गोश्त खा के गुजारी जाए, वो 10 साल की जिंदगी से बेहतर है जो गोश्त के बगैर खाए. So the 1 year that you live with meat is better than 10 years without meat. So never say that. What will happen at the end? Heart attack? I'll die? Good. I'll go and meet with my beloved. MashaAllah. So if you get a heart attack, don't worry. It's fine. Koi baat nahi. But inshallah, don't worry. You'll not get a heart attack. Don't get a heart attack, inshallah. It's fine. Well, with the pain that you feel, don't leave your muraqabah because of the pain. Pain, you should enjoy the pain. You should enjoy the pain. So this pain is because of that. This fast movement is because of that. Right? So now you understand. So this rule of the Latifa tries to go back to its asal, which is Alam-e-Amr. So different feelings are because of that. Pain, fast movement, tingling feeling, tickling feeling, all of these feelings are because of that. And some people, when it's a tickling feeling, as I said, it's a very strange, very pleasurable sort of a feeling. Right? Some people can't take that. Some people say it's very difficult to control. And some people enjoy that. If they are sitting, they just want to sit, they enjoy that. Abdullah, when he was small, he would say, "Baba, come and tickle me." Remember? Why? Because he used to enjoy that. And then he would run away as well when he was tickled. Tickling feeling is a very pleasurable feeling. So when you get that tickling feeling, some people enjoy that. It's very beautiful feeling. And remember, if you tickle, say, and somebody tickles you on your feet, you get an enjoyment. Just think about this, a tickling of the heart. Allahu Akbar. Ajeeb kafiyat. So now what happens is when you are in muraqabah and the heart, the latifa is instead of zikr of Allah, and the ruh of the latifa, it gets out of that latifa, and the latifa remains the shadow of it. So once that ruh of the latifa goes and reach the alam-e-amr, which is an angelic realm, which is a realm of nur. So because this latifa has been in this dunya for so long, it becomes dirty, filthy. So it goes into that rain of nur and it gets washed from that nur. And then it gets that coating of nur on that, or on itself. And then it comes back and reaches its place. That's what it happens when muraqabah. Now different things happen with that. First of all, the mashayikh have said this whole journey of the latifa, the ruh of the latifa going back to alam-e-amr and coming back, they have named it two different things. There are two very common things. One is called suyur. Suyur is the plural of sayr. Sayr means journey. So they said is suyur arba. There is a journey which has 4 steps. Number 1 is called sayr ilallah. So when the ruh of the latifa starts going its journey to alam-e-amr, they have named it what? Sayr ilallah. The journey to Allah. Then then it reaches the Alam Amr, its origin. When it reaches, it is, the Mashayikh have called that point Sayr Fillah, a journey with Allah. Then when it starts a journey back to its temporary place, this is a temporary place, that's its reality. It starts a journey back, it is called Sayr Min Allah, journey from Allah. And then when it reaches its temporary home, then it is called Sayr Fil Ashya. It is a journey in the things, in the worldly things. So these are called Suyur Arba. So Sayr ilallah, Sayr fillah, Sayr min Allah, and Sayr fil ashya. So these are the 4 steps that the ruh of the Latifa goes, meets its origin, and comes back to its temporary home after polished. لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَقَالَةٌ وَتِقَالَةُ الْقُلُوبِ ذِكْرُ اللَّهِ. Everything is a polish, and the polish of the heart is the dhikr of Allah. This is how it's polished. Some Mashayikh have called it Fana and Baqa. This is a very common term as well near Mashayikh. Fana and Baqa. Fana, so basically when it's going Sayr ilallah, they call it Uruj. When it reaches the place, it's called Fana. When it starts the journey back, it's called Nuzul. And when it comes back on its temporary home, which is this spiritual heart, Latifa, it's called Baqa. So Fana and Baqa is this. कि जब रूह जाती है लतीफे की तो उसको उरूज कहते हैं, जब पहुंच जाती है तो उसको फना, जब वापस आना शुरू होती है नुजूल, और जब पहुंच जाती है अपने इस आरजी घर के अंदर तो बका. Our Mashayikh have also said given another statement. It says, Al-Fani la yurad. कि जिसको फना हासिल हो जाती है वो कभी वापस नहीं आता. What does it mean? A person who gets the fana never returns. It means that he becomes such a zakir that he can never be heedless anymore. This is a blessing. It's just like that, if a child becomes an adult, he can never become a child again. It's just like that. You get that maturity. And then this is a state. This is a state after fana and baqa, after, sayr, fil ashya, the whole journey. This is a state that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken about these people in the Quran. Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan. That these are my slaves, that, oh Mr. Shaitan, you have no control over them. Because they are in state of continuous zikr after that. Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan. That, oh Shaitan, you will never be able to attack my slaves anymore. What does it mean? Will they become angels? No. They will never become angels. There will still be human beings, but they will be in that state that if they slip, there will be a fire that will burn in their hearts because of that. उनको तौबा किए बगैर चैन ही नहीं आएगा उसके बाद. They will never feel satisfied if they sin or they slip. They will do istighfar, they will do tawbah right there and then. They will never feel satisfied. This is the state of zikr. Zikr does not mean that people become angels. People will still remain human beings. They will still have that capability of slipping, and they will slip, but if they slip and when they slip, they will do tawbah and istighfar right there and then. This is the state of zikr. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. This is the state This is that state. They are in the state of zikr all the time. رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. These people, the commerce, trade, buying, selling, does not distract them from the zikr of Allah. They act like normal people. They are doing the same thing that other people are doing, but they are not in state of ghafla. These are the people that Allah Ta'ala is talking about, who have achieved the state of fana and baqa, who achieved the state of that, all the suyurs. So they get that coating of nur on their hearts. Imam Rabbani Mujaddid Al-Sani Rahmatullah Alayhi, he writes that this person who has gotten that complete fana, even if he's given 1,000 years of age, and he tries for that 1,000 years that somehow I forget Allah, he will never be able to forget Allah. Even if he tries to forget Allah Ta'ala, he will never be able to forget Allah. Because he has been on that angelic realm now. Okay, there are two things. So as I said, some people have this feeling when this latifa is traveling. Some people then, after that, they actually literally start hearing the zikr. Allah, 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 Allah. उनको सुनाई देना शुरू हो जाता है. So basically, what's happening is that the heart is doing zikr and the heart is listening. ये कान नहीं सुन रहे होते हैं. Then they're not the ears that are hearing. Heart is doing the zikr and the heart is listening. And this is actually kashf. Kashf is that Allah Ta'ala sometimes lifts the veils of the unseen. This is unseen. Everything is doing, zikr. This is doing zikr. Everything is doing zikr. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ, what is Abdullah? وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُونَ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ. Everything is doing zikr. But we are not able to hear the zikr. But Prophet ﷺ actually, he spoke to the stones. Stones spoke to him. Prophet ﷺ actually heard the stones doing zikr of Allah. So that lifting of the veil sometimes does happen. So this, when people literally starts, people have told me that I hear the heart saying Allah, 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 Allah. Allah Ta'ala lifts that veil sometimes. So it's not common for everybody. It's very rare though. Especially people like me and you, who are so much indulged in this darkness of the dunya. If people get this taharruk, this movement, that's good enough. If people hear Allah, 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 it's a blessing. But the reason is because of that, it's not the ears that are hearing. The heart is saying, doing the dhikr, heart is hearing. So for the heart to do dhikr is one thing, and for the heart to listen is a different thing. And sometimes people do hear Allah, Allah, and it is lifted from them. And that is basically because of the sins. When people sin, Allah Ta'ala takes away their state. When people eat haram, Allah Ta'ala takes away their state. People eat doubtful things, Allah Ta'ala lifts that state. Even doubtful things. Poison is poison. Some people say, it's a Islamic government, it's all halal. If they say halal, it's halal, this and that, all of these arguments, fine. Say maybe, fatwatan, it is okay to eat whatever in this country, maybe. Mufti Sahab can tell. But poison is poison. If somebody gives me a jar of candies, and he says, so he tell me these are candies, they're all okay, right? And fatwatan, I can eat them, and there may be one poison candy in there. if I eat that poison candy thinking it's a candy, and if I get killed by that, I will not get any sin as such of suicide. If I knew it was a poison candy, if I ate this candy at that time, I will have a sin that I have committed suicide. I knew it was poison, and I ate that, I killed myself. It's a sin. But if I did not know, I thought it's a candy and it actually turned out to be poison, and I eat that, I will still be killed. But I will not have any sin as such. Sin is something different, getting the effect is something different. Maybe you will not have any sin by eating it, at any place. But if it is not halal, then the effect, it is poison. Anything that's haram is poison to our spirituality. There will be an effect. Definitely. So when people eat doubtful things, the states are lifted sometimes. And sometimes the salikeen, who are salikeen? On the people on the path of, who are on the path of suluk, on that journey to Allah. Sometimes they feel everything is okay. But when they have their rabita with their shaykh, because Allah Ta'ala opens some things for the people of Nisbah. They are able to see from that basira that Allah Ta'ala has given the mashayikh. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that in the hadith as well. اتَّقُوا فِرَاسَةَ الْمُؤْمِنِ فَإِنَّهُ يَنْظُرُ بِنُورِ اللَّهِ. That beware of the firasa of a believer, of the wali of Allah, because he sees with the light of Allah. Allah Ta'ala opens for these people sometimes things. So when, the true rabita is done and people are thinking that, everything is okay, but, you actually see the issue. That's another reason, it's necessary to have a guide. So people, Allah Ta'ala gives kashf to people sometimes. They are able to hear Allah, 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 Allah. Imam Rabbani Mujaddid Al-Sani Rahmatullah Alayhi, who is like the Mujaddid of our Silsila. He was the Mujaddid, right? He was a renewer of the deen. He had a son, and he named his son Khaja Muhammad Ma'soom Rahmatullah Alayhi. Allah Ta'ala told him through Ilham that, I will give you a son who I will save from shaitan. He will be Ma'soom. So when the son was born, he actually named him Muhammad Ma'soom. And subhanallah, the kashf of Khaja Muhammad Ma'soom Rahmatullah Alayhi, it was strange. He was a small little kid, and his father taught him adab, as every person of Allah that does, and nobody can reach Allah without adab, by the way. That's a blocker. But anyway, this is not the time for that. I'll just get distracted. But he was a person of adab. His father has taught him adab. So his father taught him, when everybody will enter into the masjid, you make sure that you organize the shoes of the people of the musalli. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him kashf, even though his child, that people who were actually righteous, he would put their shoes on the right side of the masjid, and people who were actually sinners, he would put their shoes on the left side of the masjid. There was a doubt one time that if it is Eid or if it's not Eid. So people came to Imam Mujaddid Afsani Rahmatullah Alayhi, what should we do? He was in the masjid, and he said, go to my home. Khaja Ma'soom was still a baby. He said, go and ask my wife that did Ma'soom drink milk today or not. It was the habit of Khaja Muhammad Ma'soom Rahmatullah Alayhi, baby, that during Ramadan he will not drink milk the whole day. From suhoor until iftar. He said, go and check out, ask my wife if Ma'soom, if he drank the milk today or not. If he did, today is Eid. If he did not, today is Ramadan. So this is the kashf that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to some people. So this, actually that travel of the ruh of the latifa towards its asal, to its origin, and the feeling, this is actually called the activation of the heart. I mean, this is I'm just making it up. This is not an English terminology. Urdu mein kehte hain qalb ka jari hona. Qalb ka jari hona. People who don't understand Urdu, the activation of the heart. It's a bid'ah in tasawwuf for me. I'm just innovating this term. Activation of the heart. Qalb ka jari hona. कहते हैं ना उसका कल्ब जारी हो गया. इसका मतलब यही होता है. This is what it is. That if you say that somebody's qalb has been activated, this is what it is. That the ruh of the latifa actually starts its journey to Allah, to the alam amr, and this taharruk, this feeling, this movement, all of this, when they start having it, this is, this phenomena, this process is called qalb ka jari hona, the activation of the heart. So make sure that people who are doing muraqabah, to do it with all the conditions that I've given. Okay. Relaxed, no talking, no tongue movement, no body movements. The more you do it is better. Right? And the thing is, and also stay away from sins. Stay away from any doubtful things. Make sure that you are extremely cautious of what you're eating. Because it's a direct relationship with spirituality. What you eat. Garbage in, garbage out. Next thing. These lataif, they have a direct relationship with the diseases of the heart. The qalb, the latifa qalb, is directly related to desires, shahwat. Qalb ka taluk latifa qalb ka kisse hai? Shahwat se. The latifa ruh is directly related to anger, gussa. Before that, let me take a step back. So how many lataif of alam amr? 5. How many lataif of alam khalq? 2. What are the lataif of alam amr? 1. Qalb, ruh, sir, khafi, ikhfa. The 2 lataif of alam khalq? Nafs, qalib or qalibiyya. So the qalib or qalibiyya, this is made up of 4 elements. Okay? Fire, water, air, and dust. Fire, water, air, and dust. So if we take all of these 4 elements separate, so then there will be 5 things of alam khalq as well. Nafs, fire, water, air and dust. Right? So 5 things of alam khalq and 5 of alam amr. And these 5 lataif of alam amr has direct relationship with these 5 elements of alam khalq. So the qalb has a relationship with nafs. The ruh has a relationship with air. Sir has relationship with water. Khafi has relationship with fire. And akhfa has relationship with dust. Okay? Now, the 5 lataif of alam amr has also direct relationship with 5 diseases of the heart. Qalb has a relationship with shahwat. What did I say that what relationship it has with the lataif of the alim khalq? Nafs. All shahwat are in nafs. Right? All desires, eating, drinking and others, are with nafs. So because qalb has relationship with the nafs, it has also direct relationship with the shahwat. The anger is related to ruh. And in which latif of alim khalq it was related to air. So what happens in air? If you like blow air in a balloon, what happens? It blows, and it flies. So when people are in anger, they're flying. They're out of this world. They don't think what they're doing. So that's what happens in anger. So ruh has direct relationship with anger. Sir has direct relationship with bukhl. Bukhl is stinginess. Shuh. وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ. Khafi, latifa khafi has direct relationship with two diseases. One is hirs, greed, and two is hasad, jealousy. And akhfa has direct relationship with ujab and takabbur, the self-praise and arrogance. If you want to take it with the elements, right, so just like air has direct relationship with anger, water, what happens with water? Stinginess. People do not have stinginess, then the water flows. It's that they are flowing like flowing water. Hasad is direct relationship with fire. What's the hadith? The jealousy, it burns the good actions, just like fire burns the wood. It's all proven. And akhfa is with dust. If somebody is humble, this is the quality of the dust. Dust is humble. If somebody does not have the quality of the dust, then he is arrogant. So these 5 lataif has 5 diseases attached to it. So what happens is that when we do muraqabah or zikr on the particular latifa, and that latifa does its sayr, it goes to that angelic room, alam amr, and it gets its coating of nur and it gets washed. Actually what happens is that particular disease gets washed. So people, when they do their zikr on latifa qalb, they are able to control their desires, their shahwat. They're able to control their shahwat. Shahwat don't go away, but they're able to control that. Some people, shahwat literally becomes very, very less as well. They don't want to, eating, drinking, relations. It's just becomes secondary for them. Because it's tied to the nerves, it's a need. They do it, but they only do it for their need. It's not that, they're after that, running all the time after that. That's what happens. When people do muraqabah, true muraqabah, really do muraqabah, do the zikr on latifa qalb, their desires, their shahwat gets into control. They come into limits, in control. When people do muraqabah on ruh, latifa ruh, their anger comes in control. The anger comes in control. And it's not like the Mashaykh have just not made it up. It's reality. People actually have felt it. Of course, not 1, 2, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. It's all, it's all true. It's through ilham. If somebody rejects that, he will never become a kafir. But if people, definitely they will lose out on a lot of things. Sir, when people do muraqabah on sir, then their stinginess goes away. People, they have millions of dollars in their accounts, billions of dirhams, and as I said, they want to give out, 50 dirhams, 1,000 dirhams. Come on, mashallah, Allah Ta'ala has given you so much. The problem is people don't have that iman, right? That you give out and Allah Ta'ala will give you at least 10 times more. And all the way up to 700, and Allah Ta'ala can increase to whatever He wishes. بِغَيْرِ hisab, we can increase without any measures. My Hazrat, he taught us one lesson, by the way, when he gave us ijazat and khilafat. He was saying that, of course, when you do work of deen, deen, when you do work of deen, it requires all the means as well. And this is alam asbab. One of the things, of course, you need out of means. Sometimes people want to donate. So he taught us one lesson when he gave the ijazat ki, jab tak कोई इस तरह ना दे कि वो ये समझे कि वो आप पे एहसान कर रहे हैं, वो आप उस पे एहसान कर रहे हैं उससे डोनेशन एक्सेप्ट करके. Until he thinks that I am or we are doing favor on that person by accepting what he wants to give, never take anything from anybody. This is a lesson that he taught. MashaAllah. So he told his one story. When he was telling us that, he told one of his own story, personal story. उन्होंने कहा कि once a person came to him and he said that those were the times that it was he was just living, as they say, hand to mouth, मुश्किल से गुजारा होता था. He said he was in Pakistan and he had 1,000 rupees in his pocket. That's all what he had. So somebody came to him and he said, my daughter is getting married. I want money, I don't know what to do. And he was really crying, and Hazrat thought, he's really a needy person. So he took out those, there were, whatever, he took out 500 rupees and gave it to that person. Nisful li wa nisful lak. It's a sunnah of Sayyidina Umar. Half for me, half for you. That's all what he had, 1,000 rupees. So he started crying, what will happen with 500 rupees, really, he was just telling. So my husband said, I thought, where is my iman? What I'm thinking, that I'll save 500 for myself, what, no, let me give all of it. So he took all 1,000 and gave it to that person and told him, this is all what I had, I can't give you any more, and he went back. And he was sitting there, and he said that suddenly the door knocked. Somebody knocked at the door, and somebody came in. He was one of his murids. He said, what, if you please, I want to say you something, I hope that you won't mind. So he gave like a good description, tell him, thodi si, tamheed bani. She started talking like that. Said, what's that? No, I hope that you won't, really, accept and you won't mind. So what is that? So what, I want to give you this gift. And he took out an envelope. So Hazrat said, no, Jazakallah, I don't need it. And he started crying. And he cried, please accept it from me. It will be a huge favor that you will do on me by accepting this gift, please do. And he started literally, he was crying and crying. So Hazrat said, when he was crying so much, he saw the talab, he really didn't want to break his heart. He said, okay, Jazakallah, and he went. So, and he put it in his pocket and he came back home. So he said, my wife, Amma Jan, she said, that, we don't have grocery, you have to cook food. Wife, can you please bring some, vegetables or whatever. So he said that, what, I had 1,000 rupees and I gave it today in charity. I don't have anything to bring. So he said that. But he said, suddenly I thought, that person who came in and he gave me an envelope. And he even forgot about that. He took that envelope out and opened it, and guess what? How much was there? 10,000. And Hazrat said that I felt at that time that my iman is so weak that I got the least. 10 times. Otherwise Allah Ta'ala has promised 10 to 70 to 700 and infinite. The reason that we don't give out is because of our weak iman. That's why we are stingy. SubhanAllah, there is somebody who came and I knew, mashallah, she was sister. And I knew her situation. She doesn't earn. I'm just telling you for your encouragement. She came and his sister does not earn. All what she gets is her pocket money from her husband. And for years she has, gathered all of that pocket money in her bank account. That's it. And she came and she wanted to donate for the madrasa. And she took out some big chunk of money. And I asked her, I asked her, how much do you have in total? She said this much. And she was giving almost 25% of that. I said, you don't earn, this is a big amount. Jazakallah, may Allah accept your intention. But please, if you really want to donate, we'll accept, but reduce it, a little bit. Then she started crying and crying and crying, what sin I have done, I'm sorry if I have shown lack of adab, this and that. He was crying with tears. And eventually she cried so much that I had to accept. But I'm feeling bad in my heart. But then later I thought, why should I feel bad really? Because she is given with so much sincerity. I'm 200% sure she will get, inshallah, many times more than what she's donated. It's all about iman. And some people have said they're so stingy, Allah Ta'ala has given them so much. But they can't give out. Lack of iman. So this stinginess is a very bad disease. Lack of tawakkul in Allah, lack of iman, lack of trust. So when people do the zikr on Latifa Sir, then Allah Ta'ala removes this disease of stinginess from their heart. It's a big disease. When people do the muraqabah zikr on the Latifa Khafi, then Allah Ta'ala removes the disease of greed and jealousy. Jealousy is also a big disease. It's a huge disease. People cannot see other people doing good. Even so much so, two people who are, both outwardly righteous people. But this, if they see somebody even advancing in good deeds, they become jealous. Jealousy is that they want that they be deprived. This is jealousy. And being is something different. That you feel that, somebody is getting, is becoming more righteous, becoming better, and feeling that I should also become like that, that's different. That's good. But, thinking that how can he or she be deprived of that thing, that's jealousy. It's a big disease. So when people do muraqabah on Latifa Khafi, then Allah Ta'ala removes the disease of the greed and the jealousy from their heart. And then when people do muraqabah on Latifa Ikhfa, then Allah Ta'ala removes the disease of arrogance and pride from their heart. So just imagine, deadly diseases. All of these are deadly diseases. Takabbur. Prophet ﷺ said that people who have an iota of arrogance in their heart, they will not be even able to smell the fragrance of paradise. Jealousy is a disease. It destroys every action just like fire eats the wood. These are deadly diseases. As imagine when people do muraqabah on all of these lataif, Allah Ta'ala removes these diseases from their hearts. Now you should know what is muraqabah. It's not a nafal thing, 2 minutes, 1 minute, half a minute here and there. Just imagine what do we get out of this muraqabah. This anger. It's another deadly disease. Doesn't mean you don't get angry, but you control your anger. You don't just shout at your wives. You don't become out of bounds. Remember that incident, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu? He was in the battlefield and he was on top of a mushrik about to kill him for the sake of Allah. And this mushrik, he thought there is no way out and all what I can do is he spit it back at the beautiful face of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, as soon as he spit it, he left him. You left him. Why are you not killing me anymore? Initially I was killing you for the sake of Allah because you are an enemy of Allah. Now my personal thing has been involved in here. I do not want to kill you anymore. Remember, somebody spits you at your face, how much anger can come to you? But this is controlling anger. So these deadly diseases, which are like destructive, if people, they do muraqabah, zikr on their lataif, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes these diseases from their hearts. Allah ta'ala removes these diseases from their hearts. Then there are two lataif of the nafs. And this, the zikr on the latifa qalib, it is called Sultanul Azkar. इसको जो लतीफ़ा क़ालिब के ऊपर ज़िक्र करते हैं, इसको सुल्तानुल अज़कार कहते हैं. And it is, it's in the middle of the head. What happens when people do muraqabah on Sultanul Azkar, on Latifa Qalib, that people actually, Allah Ta'ala gives them this vision, or this feeling that they hear all of their body doing zikr. And it is, it's a feeling, it's a physical feeling as well. That they will feel that their, different parts, body parts will move. Ghost bhadakta hua mehsoos hota hai. It actually moves. Allah Ta'ala gives this sometimes, or in fact many times, to people in early lataif as well. Lekin when people do the Sultanul Azkar, the Muraqabah on Latifa Qalib, then it becomes very, very obvious. Then, people feel, sometimes their hand is moving, their arm, there's some portion of their arm is moving, their legs are moving, their chest is moving. So this is the feeling that people get. But basically these movements that people feel are basically these body parts are doing zikr. Everything is doing zikr. So people feel that. It's a very common thing. This is something that almost everybody gets. Almost everybody gets. This is not something, like that kashf of listening to Allah, 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 the Latifa thing. That is, not everybody gets that. Lekin these movements, almost everybody gets that. Even if people get that in the early asbaq, early lessons, the early lataif as well. Almost everybody says that. How do people know that their diseases have been removed and they are okay to go to the next lesson? People do not decide on their own. Koi insan apna sabak aage nahi badha sakta. Nobody can say, I'm done with Latifa Qalb, now I should start doing Latifa Ruh. No. You tell your kayfiyat to your Shaykh and he guides you that if you should move on to the next lesson or not. Okay, nobody can move on to the next lesson by himself. And normally what Mashayikh do is that the reason that they advance people in next lessons is by actually looking at his or her state, that if those diseases that were tied to that particular latifa have been removed or not. That is why an honest feedback, rabita, is very necessary. Apne dil ko khol ke bataye. Because if you're hiding, first of all, I tell you one thing. Because of the basira of the mashayikh, they see. They realize, what's going wrong. Our Hazrat says that if murid is 420, the Shaykh is 840. 420, 420? If murid 420 hai, to Shaykh 840 hota hai. You cannot deceive a Shaykh. Just the way that you describe, and the way that you talk, and the way that you act, pata chal jata hai, what's the issue? And I tell you another thing. This is a habit of the mashayikh, that they do not correct the murids unless the murid themselves tell their issues to the Shaykh. Normally. Kabhi bhi Shaykh jo hai wo, the guys, they never correct people until the murideen themselves tell about their issue. Even if they know it. That's why Rabita is very important. And if people hide, the most that they will get is, they will never be able to remove that issue. Kitni dafa, how many times have people come, they said, I've been trying for years to get rid of my issue. Eventually I've decided that I should come to you. Because this is nafs. If people were able to correct themselves, why were they doing that thing to start with? There will no point to do that thing, right? Because nafs is enjoying, nafs cannot get rid of that. That's why you need a person who is sitting outside you and who you have full trust and confidence and love, so that you can, just open yourself to that person and take the advices that he's giving. And on top of that, the suhbah and the tawajjuh, inshallah, that I'll talk about sometime today or tomorrow. Lekin, this is why people, you take your exams. If you know that what I'm writing is wrong, why would you write that thing? That examiner checks it and sees, oh, this is wrong. That's the reason that, that's Allah Ta'ala's sunnah to take a spiritual guide. That is the reason. Right? So, sometimes mashayikh, they advance people in their lessons out of some wisdom. That also happens. Oh, I was given one lesson, 2 weeks ago, my shaykh gave me another lesson. I didn't even do in a Muraqabah lesson number 2 or lesson number 3. He advanced me in the next lesson. That's out of wisdom of the shaykh. And you should not question that. You should not improve, advance in the next lesson by yourself. And also, if he gives you another lesson, you should not even question as well why. Just do whatever is given to you. That's our job. If he keeps you on one lesson for 5 years, just keep doing that lesson for 5 years. Koi baat nahi. If he advances you on 5 lessons in 1 month, just do 5 lessons going forward. Just forget about, why not. Just do whatever you are given. That's it. And sometimes what happens is that, again, as I said, out of some wisdom, when people are given advanced lessons, they do not leave the other lessons. So if, say, for example, somebody is in lesson number 3, so he does lesson number 1 and 2 and 3, all 3 of them. So the 1 and 2 are covered in 3 as well. For example, somebody goes to grade 5, even though he's not being taught like 1 plus 1 equals 2, but when he is doing, the 20 plus 100 is 120, 1 plus 1 equals 2 is covered in that. He has to know 1 plus 1 equals 2 in order to know 100 plus 20 is equal to 120. So, if people are doing lesson 3, 1 and 2 are covered in that. I'm just telling you that people have these questions. People say that. Alright? Okay. The more you do muraqabah, the more heights of fanayat you reach. See, this Ilm-ul-Amr, like it's like flying to that realm of spirituality, of that angelic realm. The more depth you have in your muraqabah, the more height the ruh of that particular latifa gets. And the more height that ruh of that particular latifa gets, the more depth comes into you, this of spirituality. The more coating of nur gets into you. Because the more you get closer to the reality, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more coating of nur gets into you. That's another thing. Some people do less muraqabah, some people do more. The more you do it, more effects will come into you. Okay? Same thing. More sugar, more sweet. Right? So one thing is, you are able to get it quickly. Number 2 is the more depth in your zikr you will get. So once people get that fina, when your latifa actually gets that fina, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them a kafiyah, a state as well. Sometimes people again have different states, different feelings. Kuch logon ko bahut maza aa raha hota hai is waqt. They are like, they feel so high. That's why when some people do zikr, they feel high. Whereas when people smoke or take drugs, they feel high. Why do people take drugs? So that they can feel high. The zikr, when people actually get the finayyat, they feel high sometimes. In their prayer, they stand, say Allahu Akbar and subhanAllah, they get into deep prayers. They are reciting Quran and as if somebody's passing electric current down their spine. Their tears are coming out. Ajib, soft heart. That actually, when people are in those states, they want to cry, tears coming out. This is the state of the finayyat of a particular latifa. That's what's happening. And some people remain in that finayyat for a long time. And when they stay in that state of finayyat for a long time, and they have this high feeling for all of those times. Kuch logon ke upar mahino rehti hai. For months they are in that. Some people get it for minutes. It all depends. It all depends. It's again, ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah Ta'ala gives whatever He wishes to whoever. Ye to Allah ki deen hai. Kuch logon ke upar mahino rehti hai, kuch logon ke upar minton ke liye rehti hai, kuch logon ke upar secondon ke liye rehti hai. It all depends. Okay. Another point. This all happens to people. Some people's lataif, when they do zikr and their latifa gets fina, then it stays there. It gets lost. Gum ho jata hai. Never comes back. Now imagine what would happen. Their latifa is in the alam-e-amr, in an angelic realm, in the qurb of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in that state of nur. It doesn't come back. And this latifa, which is a shadow of that ruh that has gone to alam-e-amr, it's getting the feelings. But in that room is all good. It's all beautiful. The logon ke upar, they are deep in the love of Allah. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to talk to people. They don't want to enjoy anything. They don't want anything, any worldly thing. They say, forget about it. Please leave me alone. They're in their prayers, they're in their Quran, they're in their own state. These people are called mustahlikeen. What are they called? Mustahlikeen. That their latifa, it gets lost in the fina, in that alam-e-amr. Doesn't come back. Wapas nahi aata. Again, Allah Ta'ala's choice. And the people who come back, basically the ruh of their latifa comes back after fina, basically comes back to baqa. These people are called raji'een. What are these called? Raji'een. They're basically latifa does ruju. It comes back. And mustahlikeen, their latifa gets halak in the alam-e-amr. That's why they're called mustahlikeen. Who are better? Raji'een or mustahlikeen? Raji'een. Raji'een are better people. Because the people who struggle are always better than the people who sit. فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ عَلَى الْقَاعِدِينَ دَرَجَةً. Allah Ta'ala says that the mujahideen, the people who struggle, they have higher status than the people who sit. So people, the latifa, when it comes back, it gets the baqa, and they are in this, they actually get the reality back of alam-e-khalq. They're struggling with the things around them. So they have higher status than whose latifa is, lost in the fana. And they are just sitting and, enjoying that nur and, masti and all of that. The raji'een are better. So when the people when they are the raji'een, there is no difference between a normal person and the people who are raji'een. Because their latifa has actually come back into the alam-e-khalq. So the alam-e-khalq is a world of means, of asbab. There's no difference whatsoever between a common person and the person who has done all of that suyur arba. Right? And their life from outward is like a normal man. It's like a normal man. But with a difference that if there's a normal man, he would be living a life according to his wishes, and the person whose latifa has done this khair, he will be living his life according to the wishes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the difference. They both will be looking out for asbab. They both will be looking out for asbab. And the more the kamil is the nuzul, remember uruj and nuzul? The more perfect is the nuzul, the more common that person will look like. That's why, these mushrikeen, when they saw the Prophet ﷺ, whose nuzul was perfect, whose uruj was perfect, and whose nuzul was perfect. In the cave of Hira, when he was doing muraqabah, before being Prophet, what was he doing? He was doing muraqabah. His uruj and nuzul, his fana and baqa happened there in Ghar of Hira. That's what happened. And he became a perfect wali of Allah before he was given a prophet, made a prophet. And when he was given that prophethood, of course, that raised his status amongst everybody else. But his nuzul was so perfect that people, mushrikeen, they saw him, they was assuming that if he's a prophet, it should be a man from another world. And they would say, what kind of prophet it is. Mali hadha rasul, yakulu ta'am wa yamshi fil aswaq. Allah Ta'ala quotes that in the Quran. What kind of prophet is he? He eats food and he walks in the market? People did not have, he could not differentiate between a common man and a prophet. Because his nuzul was kamil. People would come for the first time and Prophet ﷺ would be sitting amongst the Sahaba, and Sahaba had so much ittiba'u sunnah, they were so much, they looked like the Prophet. Everybody was wearing amama, beard, same humbleness, beautiful people. Everybody was like him. And people would come and it would be very hard for them to differentiate. Man minkum Muhammadan. Who amongst you is Muhammad? Because everybody was so much like other people. When they were doing hijrah with Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq was so much like the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from his inward and from his outward. People thought, because Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq actually, he started walking in the front because, he knew the Prophet is tired and he knew that people are waiting for him and they will come forward and start shaking hands. So he thought, let me move forward. This also, it's different in different circumstances. Normally the adab is that people should walk behind their shaykh. But in certain circumstances they should walk in front of their shaykh to protect them. And this is what he was doing. He started walking in the front. So that, he's tired, people will come shake hands, he's already tired. So they looked at both of them and they thought Abu Bakr is the Prophet. Radiallahu anhu. And they came and they started shaking hands. And he didn't even, he said, okay, let me do it. And eventually when people were done, then he took his cloth and he put it on the top of the Prophet ﷺ. To show people that I am the slave, he is the master. This was how the Sahaba were like, and this was how the Prophet ﷺ was like. He was like a normal man. Why? Because his nuzul was kamil. Mali hadha rasul yakulu ta'am wa yamshi fil aswaq. People were complaining about that. So when the nuzul is kamil, that person looks like a normal man, and he's 100%, he lived his life according to the asbab. According to the asbab. But a person who gets lost in his fana, then he's not like a normal man. You might have seen somebody, they are in state of what, not normal man, people. It's not good. It's not a good state to be in, by the way. Now you have understood this, right? Everybody understood this? So what happens, the people who are lost in that fina, unnatural things happen from them. Karamat. Unnatural things. Outside this world of asbab. Because this world is a world of asbab. Means, Allah Ta'ala has said some sunnah, right? If you throw this cup, it will fall down. This is sunnah of Allah. These are the rules of this world. But that is an angelic realm. The rules of that realm is different. So when people's lataif are lost in that, then people are not, do not remain people of asbab anymore. And they do quote unquote unnatural things. Sunnat ke khilaf cheezein karna shuru ho jate hain. Allah ki sunnat ke khilaf. That's why we hear the stories, somebody walked on the water. Pani mein chalne lag gaye, hawa mein udne lag gaye. This has happened. These are called karamat. If a prophet does see these sort of things, that is called a mu'jiza. When a normal person does that, a wali of Allah does that, is called karama. That's the difference. Karamat is approved in the Quran as well, by the way. People who don't, only are very literals. Oh, what's the proof in the Quran? What's the daleel? This and that. So Allah Ta'ala ne Quran mein bataya hua hai. That man, who Allah Ta'ala made him and his donkey and his slave for 100 years? 100 years. And after 100 years he got up and Allah Ta'ala says, look at your food. انظر إلى طعامك أو شرابك لم يتسنى. Look at your food and your drink, it has not gotten rotten. انظر إلى حمارك. Look at your donkey. وَلْنَجْعَلَكَ آيَةً لِلنَّاسِ. Allah Ta'ala made him as a sign for people, because his bones were rotten. Bones, he was into bones. The donkey turned into bones. But the food and the drink was still fresh. He wasn't a prophet. He was a normal man. What was that? Karamat. Karamat happens to people. When an unnatural thing happens to a normal person, it is karama. When an unnatural thing happens to a prophet, it's called mu'jiza. So normally karamat happens with these people who are in the other realm. Or latifa gets lost in fina. Phir unse karamat sadir hoti hai. Lekin, what does it mean? Is it a good thing? No. Because that's a fault in this journey. It's a shortcoming in this journey to Allah. The perfect thing is that you have fina and you have baqa. That's the perfect journey. Because Prophet was like that. Whatever Prophet was like, that's the perfect thing. Agar kisi ko finayat hasil hui, baqa nahi mili, to wo to nuks hai. That's a shortcoming, that's a fault in that journey. All those people who get these karamat, they're not like perfect people in spirituality, by the way. People think, we Tazkiratul Awliya, you read all of that, this Shaykh does that, did that, this Shaykh did that. They are naqais, they are faults, they are shortcomings. Koi achhi baat to nahi hai. By the way, the karamat also happens from the Kamilin as well, from the Raji'een as well. Unse bhi karamat sadir hoti hai. Allah Ta'ala gives them these miracles, so-called karamat. But that is to show people their authority. वो Allah Ta'ala उनको लोग, क्योंकि उन्होंने दावत का काम करना होता है. Some people, they don't get convinced. So to convince people, Allah Ta'ala gives them some karamat so that they can show and people get, they get convinced because of that. It also happens. But that's, it's rare. But normally the karamat happens with the people who are mustahlikin. And it's not a good thing. That's why you look into the lives of the Sahaba, there are very little karamat. You look into the people after them, the awliya, there were a lot of karamat. What is that? That means that there was a deficiency in the journey, in their suluk. And you look into, into all of these stories in the Junaid Baghdadi rahmatullah alayhi, he had one murid, Abu Hassan Nuri rahmatullah alayhi. And he was one of those mustahlikin. So once he went to a river and there were fishermen. And they were putting their nets and they were trying hard and hard and hard. And there were hardly any fishes coming. Small little fishes. Once me and Abdullah, we tried to catch a fish. And subhanAllah, we would spend like an hour or half an hour, we couldn't get anything. And suddenly, we felt, and it was very heavy. And we thought, it was a very big fish. And it was possibly a big fish. We tried to, catch it, and eventually the rod broke. So, it's very hard to catch fish. And the fishermen were catching fish, and small little fishes were coming. So Abul Hasan Nuri Rahmatullah Alayhi was looking at it and said, what are you doing? Give me the net. He took the net, he threw it, and such a huge fish came, and he said, go and eat it for a month. So that was unnatural. So somebody came and told Sayyidina Junaid Baghdadi Rahmatullah Alayhi, this is what your murid did. He got extremely angry. He said it would have been better that he had put the net in the water, a big snake would have come out, it would have bitten him, and he would have been dead. He got extremely angry. My murid is such a naqis. People were thinking, wow, what a big wali. He put this net and such a big fish came. And Abu Junaid Baghdadi Rahmatullah Alayhi, he knew it wasn't good. He had this shortcoming in his journey towards Allah. Hazrat Hassan Basri Rahmatullah Alayhi, he had a murid Habib Ajami Rahmatullah Alayhi. The Shaykh, he's a Kamil. He's from the Raji'een. His nuzul is Kamil. And he was living a life of Sharia. So, this is another thing. People, the Raji'een, they live perfect life of Sharia. Perfect life of Sharia. So, Habib Ajmi, Rahmatullah Alayhi, he was from the Mustahlikeen. And what happens when people are Mustahlikeen? They don't look at asbab. They don't even care about asbab. This world is the world of asbab. We have to take the means, but we should have tawakkul in Allah. If we do not take the means, then Allah Ta'ala gets angry at us, by the way. We cannot just look at the musabbabul asbab, the means of all the owner of all the means. We have to take asbab and then look at Allah. Then have tawakkul. This is necessary, by the way. But mustahlikeen, they don't look at the means. Because they're in another room. So they're only looking at the musabbabul asbab. So once Sayyidina Hassan Basri Rahmatullah Alayhi, he was standing by the river and he was waiting for the boat. Shaykh. So his murid, Habib Ajmi Rahmatullah Alayhi, he came and said, my beloved Shaykh, how are you doing? He spoke with him for some time and said, Hazrat, why are you standing? He said, I'm waiting for the ship, for the boat to come so that I can cross the river. So they kept on talking, and Habib Ajmi Rahmatullah said, if you don't mind, please, if you allow me, I'm in a hurry, I need to go, can I go? He said, go. And he started walking on the water, and he crossed the river. Now, if you really look from its outward, who looks better? Habib Ajmi, oh, big wali of Allah. But no. He was naqis. His nuzul was not kamil. Because Allah Ta'ala wants that there are asbab and everybody follows the asbab. You should take a ship, you should take a boat and then cross it. Once in the Hassan Basri, same Shaykh, same murid, he was going somewhere and he saw that, Habib Ajmi Rahmatullah Alayhi, he had a bag and he put it somewhere and he had gone. He had gone somewhere to take care of something, middle of the road. So the Shaykh, he knew that this is his bag, and he said, some thief might come and may steal. So he stood there so that I can take care of the bag until he comes back. So after some time, the Habib Ajmi Rahmatullah Alayhi came back and he said, so the Shaykh started scolding him. Why did you leave the bag in the middle of the road? Who did you give it to? So he said, I gave it to that being who has made you stand here to protect my bag. Who looks more kamil? Habib Ajmi, huh? It's not. Hassan Basri Rahmatullah Alayhi was a kamil. He was taking the asbab. This Sharia. Even if a person is praying and a thief comes in front of you and he tries to steal something, even if a small little thing that has no value, you should break your prayer and go and protect your thing. This is Sharia. That's why Prophet ﷺ took asbab. On the day of Uhud, everybody was wearing one chain mail. Prophet ﷺ came out of his house, he was wearing 2 chain mails. What was that? Didn't he have tawakkul? He had the most perfect of tawakkul, but he was taking the means. He was telling people, this is the world of asbab, you have to. I'll end with one thing, inshallah. Same, remember Babuji Abdullah Rahmatullah Alayhi, who was that? Mustajabul Dawah. He himself told my husband. He said, once I was alone at my house and there was a power shutdown in the middle of the night. And now it was his habit that he would always pray tahajjud, never do qada of the tahajjud. So there was a power breakdown, then he got up in the middle of the night and he couldn't see anything. So he made dua to Allah, Ya Allah, today there is no light, how can I go make wudu, how can I walk, it's all black out. What should I do? Please, Ya Allah, don't take away the blessing of tahajjud from me. If I don't make wudu, if I'm not able to see, I'll miss tahajjud today. And he said he made dua, he was mustajabud da'wat. He said when he was making dua, after some time the light came, power came back. He said that, the light came, I made wudu, Basically what had happened, it was like the storm had come, it was like big thunderstorm, and big, and all the poles, the lamps had fallen down, and that's why the power breakdown was there. So he said the power came back. There was light, I made wudu, I made tahajjud, I prayed tahajjud. He said that for one day and one night there was no power breakdown. And actually what had happened, all the poles that were carrying the electric wires to that town, they were all broken. They were all broken. And he said that after one day and one night, Allah Ta'ala sent ilham on his heart that, Babuji, this is a world of means, asbab ki dunya hai, asbab ki pabandi hum pasand karte hain. I like that people take asbab. So then Babuji, when he got that, he sent somebody, what's the matter? Why I'm getting this feeling? Why did I get this ilham? And somebody went and he saw that all the poles are broken. Then he basically wrote a complaint to the electric company, they came and fixed that. Allah Ta'ala loves that we take means, we take asbab. And then have tawakkul in Allah. But people, what I was trying to tell, is that people who are mustahlikeen, who latifa gets lost in the fina, then they do not take asbab as such, but this is not a good thing. So but we should ask Allah to make us from the raji'een. But for that, the more zikr we do, the more muraqabah we do, the lataif, they get the coating of the nur, and we get rid of those deadly diseases, and when it gets coated with nur and comes back, when people live a life of zikr of Allah, and then they are those people who are always from the zakireen, and they are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken about in the Quran, Inna ibadi laysa alaka alayhim sultan. Then shaitan tries to come and distract, but they may slip, but they're always on the path. That is when they become so strong, then nobody can move them from the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then they die in that state. They're always in zikr and they die in that state. They get that istiqamah. Now you know what is muraqabah. Now everybody gets to know what the benefits of muraqabah. فآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله.